Hello, and we are back again with part 2 of the Bigfoot episode. If you listened to the last episode, you got to hear about the different names for Bigfoot from around the world and our thoughts on whether it is real or not. Just click below to see the first part. Otherwise, welcome back and get ready to join part 2, which is already in progress.
So it's very interesting. People with a lot of hair on their bodies, I've never heard of anybody like in the shows we've watched about the disorder talk about them looking like Bigfoot. Like Dee said, they look like a werewolf. So why can't they look like a Bigfoot? It's actually quite strange.
If they trim their hair and they keep it neat, they kind of look like the Wolfman from like the black and white days.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they remind me of like Michael J. Fox and Teen Wolf. Yeah.
So it's very interesting. I think we'll move on to like the evidence that there is out there. And I found a website. It's outsideonline.com. I'll put a link in the description below so you can see it yourself. But I'm gonna show it also in this video. And it's the 10 most convincing Bigfoot sightings. So basically, it's a slideshow on the website, and the very first one you see is a screenshot from the 1967 film shot by Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin in Northern California.
Is probably the most famous.
Okay, so there's a lot of convincing footage out there, and I'm using air quotes here, even in the podcast, because this is 10 slides. The first one we see, like Dee mentioned, one of the most popular images of all time. And I think a lot of people think it's fake.
Oh yeah.
I think there's a lot of evidence around the fact that it is fake, and I mentioned earlier that someone took the film, stabilized it, and then re-uploaded it to YouTube so you could look at it, and it really looks more like a person at that point.
You can actually get to that from that page 1 of 11, where it says 1967 film in red. If you click that opens up and you can look at the stabilized shot.
Okay, well there you go. So just click on the link there, and I'll link it in the description below so you can go right to it. Make it easier and tell us what you think in the comments below. So for now, I'm just gonna flip through these, and this one looks convincing, but we know it very well. So I'm just gonna fly into the next one. This one here apparently was taken by a youth group that was camping. It looks terrible.
Looks like a dude with a backpack.
I really just don't understand why people even submit things like this, because it looks so crappy.
Yeah.
And it's just like seeing ghost footage where people tell me they see faces in the orbs and stuff like that. It's just shitty. So I would feel bad if I was this guy and this person or kid or group, and I was, uploading this to the internet saying this is what I think Bigfoot is. There's also another link here, and the guy, it claims he recorded it for 7 minutes, and in the description it even says making the somewhat grainy footage the longest video of alleged Bigfoot sighting. So what? If you can't see it, I can point a camera out in my backyard and we can watch for Bigfoot all day long too. It doesn't mean that the Bigfoot's out there, and this just looks completely stupid. Youth group was camping, so like Dee said, is it not somebody with a backpack? It literally looks that way. So we're gonna move along here. The third one, this is this is where I think I saw a picture of a Bigfoot being sold at auction.
Saw that in the backyard.
Yeah, we saw it a couple times this winter, and even in the spring here in the mud. We have we live in the woods here, and there's a lot of muddy areas when it rains in the spring, and we saw something exactly like this.
Yeah.
So maybe we could take a picture of it and sell it. This guy got $5,000.
5,000.
Yeah.
Could use that.
$5,000. So let's move along here in the next one.
No, please.
Looks convincing.
You can clearly see the guy has pants on.
Oh, he's got slacks
with
on.
a hood.
Is he wearing Dickies?
Looks like he's going to light a cigarette or something. I can't.
Probably Dickies.
This is.
Now, this one says it's called Independence Day film. Remarkably clear video. I like how that's the part that's linked. And I'm not going to click on it, but it shows that there's an adult Bigfoot walking through the woods with a cub in tow. Now, granted, the cub is not shown in this picture.
Naturally.
And why is it called a cub?
Because it's retarded video.
I mean, literally, if this is like a humanoid figure.
Oh, hi! I'm watching it.
How's that look?
It looks great, especially when the very first thing it does when it comes into shot is looks like right at the camera.
Oh, naturally. So what we see, and I'll link it below, you can take a look at that one as well. I'm sure you've seen it. If you're listening to this, you've already seen this evidence for sure, because you have the same interests we do. So moving on, number 5, another one, looks like a bear. Claims that this one was...
I see pants again. Looks like a guy with gray pants and a black jacket, kind of
either
running away from the camera.
Yeah, we don't think it's a Bigfoot, but the funny thing is, as soon as it looks at the people, they take off running. Probably the first video of its kind then,
He
because
just buried
all the
a body,
other
that's
ones,
why.
Huh?
Because he just buried a body.
Right. Well, and the other thing is, everybody else was looked at too, and they didn't run. So was this just a group of kids that thought the only possible explanation for a reaction after seeing a Bigfoot is to run, and then decided to record it that way so it looks a little more authentic?
Well, yeah, and that's the best part to me is if you legitimately saw in your own mind what you think is a real Bigfoot, you're not just gonna calmly
stand there.
Especially with some of these videos, the ones that are good, they're so close.
Yeah, I mean, we all have video cameras, one way or another, cell phone or not, I don't care. These look like you're within 50 feet of them. There's just no way that's happening. In this one here, you can see number 6 of 11. It was in 2007, a hunter captured the most famous Bigfoot images to date with a camera mounted to a tree. Of course, it's a trail cam. Fine. But I have trail cams in our woods as well. We watch all the wildlife here just because we enjoy it. And just because this is showing a clear image of Bigfoot, and it's on a trail cam, why is it more believable?
You know, it kind of looks like a guy in camouflage.
Well, yeah, it's a guy in something.
And the one before that, with the kids again recording, it looked like someone that just got done taking a dump in the woods and got up and pulled the pants up.
It was probably their dad. And then when they watched the footage later, because they were crying so much they pissed their pants, they thought it looked like Bigfoot.
Next.
So, either way, we're moving on to the next one, the 8th one. Or I'm sorry, the 7th one. Just another footprint that looks very odd.
How many toes does that one have?
Just the shape of it. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4,
7?
5, 6 minimum.
Sure. Well,
But
apparently
then we
it's Bigfoot
get to
of
see
the
this
beast.
guy's hand, huh?
Bigfoot of the beast.
Yeah. And we get to see this guy's hands. That's for comparison, I'm sure, and the matchbook is for the same, but any more believable than anything else. This one is 17 3/4 inches in size.
Uh-huh.
Probably the biggest one. I don't know. Just seems awfully big.
Sure.
Bigfoot would probably have to be like 14 feet tall for that.
Maybe.
But the next one is really good footage. This is probably the clearest image I've ever seen in my entire life.
Looks like a shadow person.
Taking a picture through a fishbowl.
What?
It looks like I'm taking a picture through a fishbowl.
Oh, okay. I thought you said that's what he used. I'm like,
it's
what?
that shitty. And of course the video is shaky and grainy like they always are, because they're using a camera from 1947. And there's like no such thing as a good camera in 1994. So
why is it like the first footage ever is like the most stabilized, which still isn't that great?
And
but
it's not even that stabilized. Why is this on a website that says the 10 most convincing Bigfoot sightings?
Because they called it that. I don't know. I can't.
All right. So moving on to number 9. This happened in Mississippi. This guy's hunting.
Oh my God.
He was afraid to
the
go back
skunk
into the woods. He's asking for YouTube, putting on YouTube for help, and he's saying, or he wants the prankster to come forward. Now that tells me he's making it sound like he didn't take the footage for the purpose of uploading to YouTube and thinks someone is pranking him out in his woods. Now, I've talked to other friends of mine about this, and D as well. If you are a hunter and you see Bigfoot, what are you going to do?
I'm sure the majority of the hillbillies would shoot it. Or shoot
Why
at
are
it.
you afraid of Bigfoot if you're holding a gun in your hand?
Because it's bigger than them.
It doesn't matter. You have protection. So
Well, to brag.
To me, it just doesn't make any sense. If they said if they had video of them firing off the gun, because they truly think it's Bigfoot, fine. Otherwise, they're not shooting the gun. That's their buddy.
Well, wouldn't your last idea be to put your gun down and grab the camera? I mean, that makes no sense to me.
It looks like when you're hunting, the first thing you're doing is videotaping.
Apparently.
So that was number 9. Here's number 10. Apparently another one that looks really good. This is in Utah, 2012. There's a large animal in the woods. It looks like it has a tail.
Yeah, I saw that earlier.
Possibly like a panther or something for Jesus.
It looks like it's wearing a hood, and the guy is squatting.
Well,
so
the
maybe
thing
that's
is,
his log.
look at its back.
Yeah.
Do you see the face?
Well, no, because I assumed his back was towards
No, do you
me.
see the face?
Oh, you mean with the Matrix thing?
Yes. See?
Oh, now we have a ghost with him.
Yes, now we have an orb that's attacking
It's not-
Bigfoot. It's attacking Bigfoot in the Utah hills. This is the only evidence of all time that's ever shown an orb and Bigfoot all in the same shot. So take a look at those links. The guy said it started throwing rocks at him, so
Yeah, well,
very
it's
scary.
Any guy wearing a tail in his pants doesn't need to throw rocks at me for me to
Right.
get a hint.
So those are just the really, of course it's outside online. It's not like it's Sasquatch Chronicles or the Skeptic's Guide to Bigfoot or anything like that. But I just thought it was funny, interesting. I shouldn't say funny to look at it because all the screenshots are crap, except the first one. We at least know what it is. But the videos are grainy, crappy cameras, crappy angles, shaky, and etc. So what do you think of the evidence that we show? What do you think of the evidence that you've seen online?
I don't think it's evidence at all. I think, well, there's a couple things that stand out to me that I think I just called BS. The very first thing I ever noticed, besides the Yeti, Sasquatch, Bigfoot, whatever, is it always pisses me off when the first thing it does is it's like, oh, is the camera on me? Okay, it's on me. And then it goes, almost like it's on, like it's being directed.
It's like
and
action.
Then, yeah, action, go, take one. But most of all, what's always got me is if you want a compelling video, at least for me, who's extremely skeptical, it would have to be like, I don't know, you're recording your kid's first birthday and it happens to be outside because you live in a nice state with nice weather, and it runs across your backyard.
Yep.
I mean, not even then it would probably
in the
believe it. But I mean, it's
somewhere.
the focus of the camera isn't on the damn woods or whatever. Because why is it always the focus in the center? Why is the California footage, the most famous one, the first one? The guys are calm and collected, and it is labeled a film.
Why is he recording it?
Why is he recording it? What are they even doing there?
I mean,
this is totally set up. I'm
there's
sorry.
There's not even a subject matter out there.
That's what I'm saying. He's not like recording his buddy fly fishing and trying to capture
Right.
the moment he gets trout or something, and
Yep.
it happens to be walking by on the camera.
Yep.
And that's what I'm saying. It's too set up. It's too
Yep.
staged for me. Far away, mountains, things like that, that I believe is just matrixing. Your eyes playing tricks on you.
Okay. So yeah, exactly. So the footage is footage, and like Dee said, and I agree with her, even though I believe that there could be a Bigfoot somewhere. We know that only 10% of the Amazon rainforest has been discovered, right?
Yeah.
Or explored. However, are there any sightings in the Amazon rainforest?
Right?
So it's just kind of strange. I myself, I don't know, I had a strange situation. I'm not going to say I saw, I'm not going to say I heard Bigfoot. It was a sound, it was audio only. I did not record it because I'm not just wandering around with an audio recorder on in my fanny pack. Or a camera. Just, I should probably just wear a GoPro around my neck or around on my forehead so that everything is recorded all the time and we have good footage. But I was up north in northern Wisconsin, and we own some land up there, and we were just camping, whatever, spending a weekend in the middle of July when it was 115 degrees, being sweaty and dirty. And I woke up one morning to a loud groan, and Dee's stepdad was up there with me. I was in the camper. He was sleeping in a tent probably 50 feet away. And we both had our dogs. They have a Doberman. We have a German Shepherd, Leah, who's a lot younger than. She's quite a bit older now, but she's typically when she was younger, she would have gone ape shit over any single sound ever. It doesn't matter what it is. I could have tied my shoelaces, and she notices. So I hear this sound. It sounds like this. And that was it. I just woke up, probably 7 in the morning. It felt like it was a foot from the camper. I look at the dog thinking she's going to start going nuts. She looks at me like, what? So I open the door to the camper, and I go to step out. The dog steps out first. I'm thinking she's going to take off for whatever this thing is. And she looks at me like, are we going back to bed or what? And she didn't even hear the sound or even care that something was out there. And not even a minute later, Dee's stepdad zips open his tent and asks me, did you hear that? One of the few things that Dee brings up is that, it could have been him. Was he just breathing? I mean, he's a bigger guy, but he was too far away and he was on the opposite side of the camper. So for me, no. And for him, his authentic reaction, same as mine, to come out, and his dog came right out as well. His dog is another one that would have taken off after something that was nearby.
Yeah. Quiet. She was stealthy, but she would have definitely gone after it.
She would have at least, made note of it. And it just seemed like the dogs didn't care, which was just even more weird. So I chalk it up as a weird situation that I've been in my life personally, but everybody I tell the story to chalks it up as Bigfoot. So
I can't, because it's an unidentified sound. Yes. You can't match it with something that you're not aware of.
The people, the bucks, right? They make noises.
Deer,
they grunt.
Coyote, bears.
The stepdad is also a hunter, and he has heard many sounds like this in the woods, grunting from bucks that he can see, or deer, or anything like that. He did not think it sounded familiar to him. So for me, as a non-hunter, I believe him. It just added to the strangeness of it. And because it was so close to the camper, and literally 2 minutes later I'm outside the camper and see nothing, it was just really weird. So, as far as evidence goes, it's just a personal story that I have. At least I don't have shitty camera footage to go along with it,
yes.
Thank God.
If it's shitty, don't even provide it, please.
Or we could just talk about that at the same time as all these other ones. But, do you have any... What about you guys, the listeners? What do you guys have any experiences at all with Bigfoot? And if you do, just leave them in the comments below, or leave a link to something that we can read about. Make me believe. Find evidence that I didn't see already, or any sort of article, or there's tons of news articles. Since 1967, this guy's footage. I mean, the news has been taking these stories as serious as a heart attack. They don't make it breaking news, but they do talk about them. And, one of the most recent ones I saw was that, remember when I told you about that story, that woman that crashed her car into a deer because she claimed there was a Bigfoot she saw in her rearview mirror.
She wasn't texting?
It was 12:30 at night, who knows?
That doesn't matter.
She was probably drinking.
Well, there you go, and texting.
Drinking and texting and driving,
Sure.
Don't text and drive, it's very dangerous. But anyway, you could swerve off the road, hit a deer, getting away from a Bigfoot. But so there's stories that the news agencies still report on, even though they're completely far-fetched, and of course any evidence you see is going to be completely shitty. Talking about that, we move into like the skeptic side of things. Like for Dee, she does not believe Bigfoot is Bigfoot. She believes it's something that we have misidentified. I open up the skeptics dictionary. I read that scientists, cryptozoologists, people that study the oddball things out there. How do you
study something if you cannot touch it?
Exactly. And they say there's not enough evidence to support the idea that Bigfoot even exists. Scientists are saying this, not just people with guns or people who live in the swamps. People that are educated, and they're provided with evidence, and they move on from there. If you can't show them that there's something beyond the reasonable doubt, then they're going to say, no, I'm sorry. Show it to me, or just stop talking about it. And in short, on the Skeptics Dictionary, basically it says there's more evidence pointing towards the fact that there's a hoax or a delusion of the Bigfoot. Like, some people just want to see Bigfoot. So anything they come around or come about automatically goes to Bigfoot, just like with the ghost story that we talked about in last episode. So some believers will dismiss all the criticism and just claim that Bigfoot exists, and possibly even on a different dimension, or that it's supernatural or astral projection. I mean, then you really get crazy.
Well, it can't just be mass hysteria. Everyone believing something exists in the woods, and then they think they see it.
Yep. I've seen and listened on the radio shows where scientists believe that if enough people believe one thing, that the possibility that it happens is very high, or that people think they see things that aren't really there. So I think it can really go really far, but the evidence shows that it has gone nowhere. There's nothing there to show us. And I think that's where the general public lays. I think the general public just believes that Bigfoot is there. We have TV shows on every single year, new ones. Finding Bigfoot, find the skunk ape. Oh my God, Bigfoot. My Bigfoot's in my backyard. Blah, blah, blah. They're all there. Just making us believe more. And I just don't think it's the case. I haven't seen evidence that he's real. And I'm more convinced by video footage that I have yet to see. So at this point,
why can't it be a long-lost creature, or a creature we thought was extinct too?
It's an anomaly, yeah.
You know what I mean? Every day we're finding creatures that they told us were extinct that are not.
Yep, they just show back up. You know, they've been missing for 500 years or even 5,000 years. They've been talking about stuff like that. They just reappear again. So,
if it does exist, it disappears when it dies. So
yeah, exactly.
There's no bones, nothing.
And yep, the skeptics out there's one of the first things they say is if it's alive now, it will have died at some point, and there should be a pile of bones somewhere.
And even
if we can unearth dinosaurs from years ago, we would see a pile of Sasquatch
by now,
bones
well, they have found giant bones and things like that, but what a giant, I don't know, 1,000 years ago was probably a 6-foot man.
True.
I'm just saying.
And how are they gonna know what that guy looked like just by his femur?
They're just gonna make him not look like them.
They're just gonna know that it's humanoid or whatever and tall. They're not gonna know if the guy had, was covered in hair and smelled like shit, like some of the people say. So, and like Dee said, what else is covered with hair and smells like crap?
A freaking bear and a dog.
A bear and a dog. We have a dog that smells like shit. She literally has a lot of hair, and she's got a double coat. She's a German Shepherd, and when she gets nasty, it smells. Do I think I'd ever be close enough to her to smell it? Like if it were a bear or a Bigfoot? No. That's when people say they can smell it. I don't understand how they can do that when they're clearly not within 50 feet of it.
I don't know, man.
It's impossible.
So
hype. That's... Yeah, it's hype. There's a lot of hype. That's our thoughts on Bigfoot. Was there anything else?
Not really. I mean, maybe... I've never really been into Bigfoot. I don't have a fear or belief in Bigfoot. I would happily sleep out in the woods. My only fear would be hillbillies, which usually go for men, so I'd be okay there. Yeah, deliverance goes in your direction. Other than that, depending on where it was, it would be bear. That's simply it. Just bear and, maybe a tornado. That would be like the two things that I'd be legitimately afraid of. Because even if he did exist, since no one can study him, how do we know how to defend against something like that? If it existed, it would be huge.
Yeah,
and just rip you apart with a finger.
If the thing is chucking rocks through the woods and hitting you, it's got pretty good arm.
Well, and that's one of the cases that they say is what other animal can throw things. It's like, well, we know the apes can, and humans, but have they studied every single animal that ever existed? You can't say yes when you're still telling us that they're all extinct and we're finding them.
No.
So
I don't know. I can send my buddy out in the woods for 10 minutes and start having him throw rocks back at me too with the video camera recording. So it's you never see the origin of the rock, where the rock came from. So to me, it's just like shitty evidence.
I mean, I guess if a boulder came hurling, I'd be kind of interested. Be like, is there a trebuchet back there? Did our neighbors build something amazing?
Yeah, someone's launching them through like the Vikings used to back in the day.
Right, but I mean, when it's small little rocks, I mean, why can't that be a raccoon up in the tree?
Oh yeah,
squirrels. Just not throwing it at you, but he's dropping it.
Falling out of its nest or whatever, the hole in the tree. It doesn't matter.
Again, just like with the ghost topic, if someone believes in it, every single thing they hear out in the woods is going to be the Bigfoot.
It all comes back to Bigfoot no matter what. You could hear someone speaking in a loud voice around a bonfire nearby, and you automatically think it's a female version of the Bigfoot.
Well, and how many people know what certain animals sound like? Like, I never heard a rabbit scream until I moved out here, and I'm like, is there a woman being murdered in our woods? Like, what the hell is going on outside? It's really creepy.
The first time you hear a rabbit with nowhere to go, you realize exactly what that sounds like. But before you know, it could sound like something very bad, like a banshee.
I mean, I'd go on it. Well, those are, you respect them. Those are pissed off ladies.
We can talk about banshees. We're going to wrap this episode up. We talked enough about Bigfoot and the fact that it's not real. So why don't you just leave in the comments below what you think. Do you think it's real or not? If you're with us, go ahead and hit the like button. Just like this video, give us a thumbs up, and we're going to be doing a lot more episodes like this, hopefully a little more frequently, so you guys can kind of keep up on what we think and how we feel.
We'll have some special guests too, especially when it comes to the UFOs.
Yeah, we got people that we like to talk to about their thoughts on UFOs and aliens, and we live very close to a place that actually has a UFO fest every year.
Yeah.
So that'll be another thing we can kind of talk about.
We should check that out this year too.
You know. So we'll just wrap this up, and like I said, why don't you guys subscribe if you guys like what you're listening to, and we're gonna keep going. Just take a look at the pictures I put up and the videos. Let me know what you think, and just give us a subscribe so we can keep making good podcasts and more interesting things to talk about. Okay, I think that's it.